So ever since Drake dropped his Iceman album, I've been wondering which song is going to go #1. Because look, Drake's got it sewn up. All right, this is the biggest event in music. One of these songs from Iceman or Habibti or Maid of Honor is going to go #1. And the one that seems to be the most likely to go #1 right now is the one that is stuck in everybody's heads. Okay. Janice STFU, I guess it's called, right? Weird name for a song. Beep, beep, baby, pull a me back, boop, boop, baby. Something about that cadence, that auto-tune, that lower, deepened voice is just hitting, all right? Beep, beep, baby. I don't know. That's stuck in my head, all right? Are you the same? I don't know. But one of the big things people have been trying to get to the bottom of since that song went viral is basically who the F is Janice and why should she shut the F up, okay? And I think, interestingly, they're now saying that there's a theory going around that Janice is actually a real woman. She might actually be an executive at UMG who Drake was suing. Or it could actually be one of his ops mothers. There's a whole bunch of theories, so I'm going to lay them all out to you in this video, and we're going to get to the bottom of actually who this low-key undercover diss song is actually about. So look, here's the lyrics for Janice STFU, all right? So it's described on Genius as an aggressive cut from Iceman, continuing Drake's attack on the haters and the industry. So the core of the song is heavily directed at Kendrick Lamar. Drake strips away Kendrick's savior images and accuses him of fake activism, like claiming he only performs charity on camera before immediately retreating to his expensive mansion in the hills. He also mocks the fact that Kendrick's fan base is largely made up of white kids listing out of guilt. And he questions the messy details of his past record deals, including those with his label Top Dog Entertainment. The name Janice most likely belongs to Janice Jose, the head of brand partnerships at Universal Music Group, in reference to Drake's ongoing feud with his label. The title is inspired by an actual audio sample lifted from The Sopranos, with Tony Soprano snapping at his sister Janice to shut up. Drake telegraphed the reference ahead of the album's release, posting multiple images from the show on his burner Instagram account as cryptic hints during the album rollout. Are these still there? So he posted a few pictures of Tony Soprano, all right? Obviously, one of my favorite shows in history is The Sopranos, but let's just like skim over some of these lyrics, okay? He's basically talking about, you know, the girls, the famous girls that who be texting him and hitting him up, right? Said he took a break from music. Now he feels like he's on ecstasy. You know, he's talking about how his work's going to be the death of me. They tried to kill me once, but darling, you resurrected me. And basically, so they're saying this is an interpolation of the melody and cadence of Licky Lee's I Follow Rivers. I follow you deep sea, baby. All right. I never heard that one. So basically, all right, now he's saying, I swear my label got to free me, baby. So the rumor is that, you know, he dropped 3 albums in a row to get out of his deal with UMG. So this is low-key a diss song towards UMG as well as Kendrick, okay? So he's talking about he's buried alive. Okay, people feel like he was artistically buried after his beef with Kendrick Lamar. Apparently, the line plays on a string of high-profile write-ups that push the narrative. Joe Budden said on his podcast, I'm not doing a back and forth with a corpse, refusing to even engage with Drake as a relevant artist. Another incident would be A$AP Rocky, who said on Ruby Rosary, like, who dared me to die? You a dead man walking like you barely alive. So some people are saying, if I call up your shorty right now, she's picking up. People think he could be talking about Kanye, that Kim Kardashian had been hooking up with Drake. I also feel like he could be talking about, it says, these are the last times I get to diss Drake before the Kim pop out, because then it looked like I'm hating or caring, Twitter stopping me from using the F word. Okay, so I think Drake might have been clapping Kim Kardashian. They're saying it could be The Weeknd. Okay, they've had a complicated relationship, and Bella Hadid has apparently messed with both of them. And then obviously they're saying the most likely is Rihanna, because they're basically saying if Drake calls Rihanna, he used to hook up with her back before she was with Rocky, and they're basically saying if he calls, she's picking up. You boys got big off my name, all right? They're basically saying that Kendrick Lamar and A$AP Rocky used Drake to get to the top. We know how you OGs rocking already. The jig is up. So he's dissing Jay-Z as well. He's dissing everybody. They say the truth will set you free. Well, mine's going to stream while you watch it in HD. So basically, that's the whole live stream rollout for Iceman. They say karma could take eternity. Yours is dropping the same night as me. Funny thing is that they ain't going to compete. You're going to get yours while I'm doing me. So they're saying that karma could take eternity. Anyone dropping music on the same night as me, they're going to be screwed, right? And then he says, hey, Janice, shut the F up. And this is apparently a reference to Janice Jose, the head of brand partnerships at UMG. So Drake is framing her as the Janice Soprano of the music industry, a self-serving opportunist who thrives in chaos while others absorb the damage. Okay, and that's basically the whole inspiration of the project. Now in verse 2, okay, Drake repurposes bars from his unreleased Iceman era track, That's Just How I Feel, and the repeated damn throughout the verse apparently is a reference to Kendrick's album Damn. And basically he comes, like, this is some of the most saltiest stuff that I've ever seen from Drake, all right? Tired of y'all telling me dudes is real, pussy, and I know that it's real. You only come home to pose and pop off a look, but you forgot how it feels. Chi-Town popping a pill, go on a drill, looking for someone to kill. I think that could be about Kanye, maybe. And then he goes for Kendrick. He says, white kids listen to you because they feel guilt. That's how your soul gets fulfilled. Handing out turkeys in your hood. Then you go back to the hills. All right. And basically, you know, he's saying, how many houses did you build? How many souls did you heal off the back of your deal? I mean, that's cool, but the difference between dudes getting you out of your deal and letting you out of your deal against your will, how many new names you got to pop on your will. So apparently, this is a reference to Kendrick and Top Dog basically having a beef. Kendrick left in TDE to start his own creative company. Drake alleges the situation was less clean than it appeared, and Kendrick was forced to make a massive financial sacrifice against his will, asking how many names were on his will, suggesting Kendrick had to sign away a percentage of all of his future earnings or rights to his old label executives. And Drake said that on Push-Ups, extortion baby, whole career you've been shook up because Top told you drop and give me 50% of everything he's ever dropped. So they're basically saying that like Drake's saying getting out of your deal and letting you out of your deal. Getting out of your deal means you fought your way out. Drake's trying to get out of his deal. He's engineering his own exit from the deal. And he's saying that basically Top Dog let Kendrick out of his deal, probably at a big cost. Okay. So they're saying how many more interviews are going to do to get Ice to chill. Some people are saying that's about Rick Ross. They're trying to cover it up like a quilt. That's Drake basically saying they're trying to cover up that the bot, Not Like Us thing was going on. Now, let's be real. The song was a hit, right? So then he's just talking about how he likes tricking on females. Yeah, we know. we know. We heard. Okay, you got more money than everyone. That's cool. That's cool, right? That's cool. So the rest of it's kind of, you know, he's referencing, talking about the money grew off a tree. Money came in for free. I made too much in a week. Must be 250 at least. Okay. Drake's making more than 250 grand a week. All right. Drake's being deliberately nonchalant with it, tossing out 250 a week as a casual overestimate, when the reality is the figure probably doesn't survive contact with a single day of his actual earnings from music alone. The real Easter egg is the timing of this bar. It lands exactly at the 250 mark of the song. That's actually really interesting. Drake probably earning 250 racks a day, let alone way more, right? MRI machine scanning his knee. He had a bad knee. Poor Drake, right? Took an arrow to the knee, nearly ended his career. But basically, all right, he kind of wraps it up, right? Might book a flight out to London. Is that because is Janice based in London? I don't know, okay? But basically, there's been all these theories about exactly who Janice is. And so now you're familiar with the track. I'm sure you already were, but now you know the details of exactly what was being said. People have been asking in the Drizzy subreddit, who the F is Janice? I just listened to Janice STFU, trying to figure out who he's talking to or where the outro is from. I love the production. So it's from The Sopranos, okay? But Janice, Jose, apparently head of brand partnerships at Universal Music Group, business development strategist, sales and partnerships leader in music and entertainment. So people are saying that's a coincidence at best. Some people are saying that it's not her. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of background basically to this, okay? So people have been posting her and saying, this is the Janice. This is Janice, y'all need to STFU. So people are saying that it's not the Janice. They're saying that that's the Janice. It's the UMG Janice, okay? And so it's kind of been obviously, you know, a trope that he's basically comparing, he's basically comparing Janice from UMG to Janice from Universal. Janice from Sopranos, basically. Like, he's kind of like bringing up, you know, she's an infamous character known for like playing the victim, manipulating people, not being straight up, being a liar.
You went to the cemetery today, didn't you?
How do you know?
Because you got cemetery mud on your shoes.
What are you, Marge Hingham, Brenda? Now? What do you know about the mud? You've been spying on me? I can't go to the cemetery.
We're talking about you, not me. The grave and the funeral, and it's never ending. Did you even pay the funeral bill yet?
I'm never going to pay it.
This is exactly what I mean. We have a nice evening, and we end up talking about your dead wife.
You invited me.
The other night at Tony, your kids were trying to contact Karen on a Ouija board. I mean, what do you expect? You're talking to a headstone.
She's my wife.
Well, she's dead, and I'm here.
Shut the f*** up.
You shut the f*** up.
So look, all types of people be telling Janice to shut the fuck up, right? So I think I was about to call Drake Tony. Then we might as well. I think that Drake might be drawing parallels between the personality and manipulative, horrible. She's hated. I hate Janice. She's annoying, right? Sopranos is my favorite show. Janice might be the most annoying person to ever grace its screen. But there's other theories. Some people are saying that Janice might actually be about Beyonce. All right, there's been kind of like academics posted it, said hold that FN word. All right. A lot of people thinking that they talking about it's wow, I didn't think of that. Look in the mirror and see where talking can get you. All right, that's actually crazy lore. I'm gonna have to break that down in a different video. But it's like there's been a lot of speculation. Obviously Drake dissed Jay-Z a bunch of times, including on that song. It says implying Jay's got Beyonce on house arrest. The jig is up. Right, so that's a diamond ankle monitor. I guess that was from the video. So people are saying that there was sort of some hidden messages for Beyonce in there. What's going on with this? Why has this been deleted? Why has this been deleted? Good thing I've backed it up. So this is another one I sent. I just watched the Janice STFU video again. Oh my Lord, free Beyonce. Okay. So a lot of people are saying that they think that this is actually some kind of get out scenario where Jay-Z's got Beyonce locked up against her will or something like that. So it says, yo, I just made the whole connection with Drake naming the song Janice STFU. I know I'm not tripping. I'm going to break this down with a thread. So the album's called Iceman, right? Most of you probably know in the Marvel comics, Iceman's real name is Bobby Drake. So Drake is basically telling us he's Bobby Drake on the album, but I don't think that's the only Bobby that Drake is embodying. I think Drake is also personifying Bobby Baglieri from The Sopranos. If you watch the show, Bobby is usually the quiet, nice guy the whole mafia treats like a total pushover. But in season 4, episode 11, something happens. He completely snaps on Janice Soprano in a mall food court and tells her to shut the F up. He was just entirely sick of her manipulative, toxic energy and couldn't take it anymore. I'm pretty sure I figured out who Janice is supposed to be too. Kendrick is literally Janice Soprano in Drake's eyes. On the show, Janice always acted like she's this deeply spiritual, woke, fake, holy healer type, but behind the closed doors, she was just a hypocrite using everyone around her for her own benefit. Look at the lyrics on Janice STFU. White kids listen to you because they feel some guilt, and that's how your soul gets fulfilled. Handing out turkeys on camera inside your hood, then you go back to the hills. He's completely frying Kendrick's whole savior complex, and here is footage of Kendrick allegedly handing out them turkeys in the hood. And they're saying Janice could also apply to Jay-Z. Janice Soprano is that old guard who thinks her last name means she can do whatever she wants and pull strings from the shadows. When Drake says the jig is up, he's letting them know that they can't bully him anymore. People been calling Drake soft for a decade now, just like the mob did to Bobby. Janice STFU is Drake's food court moment. He's done being polite to people who act like saints, but are low-key trying to destroy his legacy. Drake is an effing mastermind. Or maybe that's the Janice, okay? So they're saying that was debunked, all right? And we'll get to the full-blown debunking in a moment. But what I will say is some people have another theory that this whole song could actually be directed at somebody associated with Kendrick, Baby Keem, because his mother is named Janice, right? So it says, Baby Keem confirms Child with Wolves and Casino are two different albums. Child with Wolves became Janice, my mother's name. I wouldn't say Child of Wolves becomes Casino. Child of Wolves is more of a sadder body of work.
Body, yeah, that was the first version. Child with Wolves, and then it became like a sadder body of work. In my opinion, it was more like, this album could be so of like how I'm living and to do anything else so much that I forgot to live new ones. Sometimes I brought the studio, sometimes
whatever. Okay, so Baby Keem has apparently spoken about his mother dealing with addictions in the past. So it says Baby Keem Boo Man episode 3 reveals that Keem's mother lost her rent money gambling at a casino when he was little. They were evicted, at which point Keem went to live with his grandmother. I think we'll see this play into some of the themes behind the album and why it's titled Casino. So there's basically some Reddit theories going around that they basically think that Baby Keem might have actually taken a shot at Drake on his track Dramatic Girl. So this says Baby Keem decoding Dramatic Girl. A friend complained to me a while back they hadn't seen any decent takes on the Baby Keem tracks off the new Casino album. So I decided I might as well go and break down one of the tracks on there, one of the less complex ones though. To begin with, the album was pretty good to me. It's a ton less complex than Melodic Blue though. MB and MB Deluxe are really lovely little brain teaser types of albums. I think Keem and Kendrick might have purposefully dumbed down some of this stuff, so to speak, in the hopes people would catch on better. With that in mind, onto the track Dramatic Girl featuring Shay Ekru. It starts off with an intro piece, let the water fall over my lazing, never gets a drop on me, endure all the revelry, you gotta come. First off, water throughout Kendrick Lamar's lyrics represents purity, truth, cleansing, and baptism. This is defined in 2 songs, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, and Lust from Samadot. See, you young men are dying of thirst. You know what that means? That means you need water, holy water. You need to be baptized with the Spirit of the Lord. And in Lust, when Kendrick's trying to fight temptation, I need some water, something came over me, way too hot to simmer down, might as well overheat. Being out of the water is a metaphor for being out from under God's protection. Sinning or otherwise going into evil desires, which is why Kendrick then disses Drake on the Heart, part 4, when he shouts, I'm fresh out the water, about to breach N-word. So because he's giving into the sin of anger, so returning to this track, when the intro singer talks about something like, let the water fall over my lazing, never gets a drop on me, endure all of the revelry you got come. This is saying in plain English, I'm surrounded by truth, but it doesn't affect me. I'm still living in my own illusion and trying to get others in, which fits in with the concept of dramatic girl and the overarching theme of the song. I will now present my thesis on all of this. This song is a diss track. Dramatic girl is Drake. Let's examine it up close. The song begins with these lines. Dramatic girl, the world is vast, unapologetic, I wish you well. This is a threat to Drake about the possibility of him being exposed in the future. Basically, it's starting off by saying, good luck if you get exposed, somewhat similar to Kendrick on Not Like Us saying, hey Drake, the fans are not slow. The next line should have had anyone who's been paying attention jumping around. Take off the mask in your disguise. I see your lies. A problem, girl. This is a direct reference to Tyler, the Creator's Take Off the Mask, where he also dissed Drake. Also, this isn't the only Tyler reference on the album. Keem shouts him out on a title track where he raps, the gay homie said that you dudes are bums. This would be Tyler, who in his diss track, That Guy directed at Drake, also Noid, rapped, I'm paranoid because now dudes are weird and really bums. So we're using a Tyler reference to establish this track is directed at Drake. Now on to the next parts. It says her day ones know, her family knows. Obviously about everyone in the industry knowing that Drake, her, is a terrible person. Now here's a double reference that comes up. She has her vices, who am I to judge? The first part, she has her vices, is referencing No Makeup. Her vice, a Kendrick Lamar track off Section 80, Who Am I to Judge, goes to Tyler again, specifically his track Judge Judy, where he describes the industry's corruption of music by the use of people such as Drake and others. The hook on that track went something like, so I won't judge Judy, etc. Basically, it's 2 references together doubling down on the fact that Drake is a corrupt fake. She's tucked away somewhere remote. This should have raised antennas again. Keem is referencing Drake's Hidden Hills house. I've been enlightened, the sweetest girl. This is interesting. First, Keem says that he's been enlightened, meaning that he sees what Drake really is. The sweetest girl, in the tone of it being a love song, sounds like a compliment, but seeing how the girl in this track is Drake, calling him sweet is an insult. Now we're going to the main verses. There's more than one way you should love me. I need you finding that explosion. Love and love letters often function as a code for a diss track. Keem is saying Drake needs to have more creative diss tracks, and if we go into Drake's subliminal disses, they do appear clever at first, but then you realize they're always using the same language to describe similar topics, and it gets very boring after a while, hearing one man whine about label issues over and over and over again in a slightly different way each time. That explosion is creativity. Now this is a complex line. We drew blood in the ocean. This is a very complex metaphor. First of all, what draws blood in the ocean? Sharks. Have sharks been discussed before? Actually, yes, they have. From Kendrick, he described the dark side of his personality as a shark before in From Deep Water. They worry him to death, but he's no vegetarian. The beef is on his breath. Again, inheriting the drama better than a great white M-word. This is life in my aquarium. We already established that water is a symbol of purity and truth, so we drew blood in the ocean is basically saying we're practicing controlled violence for the sake of truth. This idea of a righteous anger, so to speak, also ties into the Kendrick lyric, he's a dub, she a bust, and I'm godly, off of House Money. Next lyric, I've been hiding in the open. This is referring to a Pusha T line from If You Know, You Know. Said, I've been hiding where you can see me, the skybox right next to Riri's. This is a diss at Drake by Pusha T, and he in turn was flipping a line from Drake's Trap Hype. The line was flipped was, you cannot be right here next to me. Don't you see this girl Riri next to me? This is the line by Keem, therefore clarifies Dramatic Girl as Drake diss. It can also tie back into the idea of The Matrix, where the surface illusion is that Dramatic Girl is a random love song, but if you know, you know, and it's actually a diss track. Is it that deep? Swimming in the water? I know it's 6 feet deep. 6 feet deep should make you immediately think of 6 God Drake, but 6 foot is the depth bodies are buried at. Basically, Drake will get buried, or rather his career will get ended when the truth comes out. Can you show me more love? We'll see. Having established that in this song, showing love is referring to dissing. This is basically a taunt daring Drake to try again. We'll see. Yeah, is it that deep? Basically saying, come on, kid, diss. Let's see if you can really make something deep and complex. Swimming in the water like it's 3D. This one is really complex. 3D is fake. A movie, at the end of the day, the whole thing is really just a movie or Matrix type thing. And the water is symbolism for the movie. This is why Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was meant to be a stage play, and why Good Kid, Mad City is called a short film by Kendrick Lamar. Melanie Martinez outlines this in her songs Drama Club and Disney Princess really well. This is also why some of A$AP Rocky's new singles, such as Punk Rocky and Helicopter, had some video game imagery on the covers, and why the intro to Baby Keem's Hillbillies music video has the grid effect. But I digress. The rest of the song sums it up pretty well. You've been on my mind for so long. I keep writing love songs. I keep singing love songs. Keem has been dissing Drake since Melodic Blue, and this I keep writing love songs subliminal disses is referencing that. Keem finishes up by saying, I know we haven't spoken so long, which makes complete sense if he and Drake are beefing. In conclusion, Dramatic Girl is a complex subliminal diss track at Drake, where he is the dramatic girl, and for a Keem song, this is actually really simple, but it does give a good basis to go on for any other decoding we might want to do in the future. Okay? So it says, on top of that, aside from being that guy being over the Hey Now beat, Tyler samples ad-libs from Baby Keem, specifically on Boo Man. On TMB, Boo Man being Keem's alter ego in a way as Kung Fu Kenny or Wolf Haley is to Kendrick or Tyler. So interesting, right? So let's get back to the original theory that Janice is a UMG executive. So this was from Hello Yassine, a very good hip-hop journalist who's been around the block for sure. All right, he's been digging deep into a lot of industry stuff. He talks a lot about industries and contracts with a lot of authority. He said Drake dropped a major diss people are sleeping on Janice STFU. He raps, swear my label got to free me, baby. Hey, buried alive, someone come dig me up. If I call you shorty right now, she pick it up. You boys got big off my name, that's big enough. I think the whole thing is a double entendre talking about A$AP Rocky and Kendrick Lamar, but also his record label. Them boys got big off his name, Universal. I don't know. Come on, Universal was doing their thing. But 10 years ago, he dropped the song Sneakin' with 21 Savage. On Sneakin', he raps, plus I never met nobody from my label. I just pop up with the music, then they pay me. He shoots the Janice STFU music video in a similar style coat he did in the Sneakin' music video, in a similar resolution with the square, not the wide, and the theme is a car garage. Most of the other music videos for the album are filmed wide. Sneakin' was also where he gave 21 Savage a red Ferrari as a gift. On top of that, Universal has been taking down anybody who posts the Janice STFU music video clips for copyright here on X. Okay, interesting. So he bought 21 that Ferrari, and he's posing next to the real big boy Ferraris. Okay, very interesting. Okay, they're saying Buried Alive was the name of an interlude on Take Care. He put Kendrick on, right? Interesting. They're saying they're keeping the song off the radio too. A bunch of other ones have played off the 3 albums. Now, so I thought that this was a good theory, but according to probably the best historian when it comes to the Kendrick Drake beef, What's the Dirt, it's not true. It's cap, right? He says STFU Janice is not about this woman. She's based out of UMG Singapore and looks after brand partnerships in South Asia, Korea. She has nothing to do with Drake or his deal. I got a breakdown coming though, right? Allegedly, Janice STFU. What about Janice Jose, right? People saying poor lady, she doesn't have any connection with any of this. I just listened to a whole podcast she did. She's not even on the same continent, okay? So anyway, it's still sort of up in the air exactly which Janice is being referred to. People are saying the music video has a lot of hidden, deeper messages in it. So it says, this is probably Drake's most Kendrick diss-heavy track on the album, and his collection of Ferraris is obviously a flex on GNX. What I find interesting is the parallels to the Luther music video, more specifically the chick. I'm 90% sure he's doubling down on the abuse allegations, and she represents Whitney. She's depressed the entire music video, either staring off in the shower or drinking heavily. The paparazzi scene is especially telling since her face is heavily covered, and the last image speaks for itself. I'm not too keen on the schizo theories, but this definitely seems intentional. Absolute banger of a song, by the way. So that's him sat down with the woman. They listening to music. So this is meant to draw parallels from Kendrick's Luther. Sat down in the exact same pose, but the other way. That's pretty spicy, and he's holding the belly like she's pregnant. Drake's not holding the belly in this one, but he sat down the exact same way. That's smart. It's sharp, okay? So is this like a little part of the video that's referencing Luther, the little sort of like, you know, movie reel kind of stock burn on the screen kind of effect? That's the girl in the shower, depressed, crying. They're saying that this could be Whitney, basically, you know, battered and bruised after being allegedly beaten by Kendrick Lamar at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, covering her face, all right? The alleged incident that's still not been proven of domestic violence. And they're saying that that could be based on her basically covering up that Kendrick beat her senseless, allegedly, according to some rumors that Drake has put out there a lot but not substantiated. Okay, so it's a very interesting symbolism. All right, all the Ferraris, they're saying he might be trying to flex on GNX, all of the things that were left on the floor. So a lot of interesting references. People are saying, what I like about this, the majority of the shots he takes on the album is they're direct. Even the ones where he doesn't say names, it's clear as day who he's talking about. Okay. People are liking the disses. They're saying this is a top 10 of all time. Shit's on repeat. The track is scorching, instant classic. It is. They're saying Lambos, these are iconic Ferraris worth tens of millions of dollars. Right? He got the craziest Ferraris. This is like Kanye said, Drake will say a bar that only you will know it's directly about you, the world won't. Okay, Insane Man, Iceman, best rap album of the decade. People saying Janice is an executive, all right, but I don't necessarily think that that's true. So, look, these are kind of all the theories that are going around on what this was all about. Me personally, I really kind of liked the idea that, like, maybe that he was kind of going at, you know, some kind of, you know, label executive or something like that. I really like the song. I think the song is a banger, and I feel like it's one of my favorites. I think this is the song that's going to go #1, and I feel like there's probably even more dark, deeper meanings behind it. So, look, if I see anything else about this song, I'll be sure to let you guys know, all right? But I just wanted to do that breakdown, but that song has been stuck in my head. Free me, baby, baby, from BC, baby. It's a banger. It's a banger, right? Okay, I can't help it. But anyway, okay, that's it for me. I think that's the last video I'm going to do today. I'm going to go and film like 3 main channel videos. We're about to turn the F up, all right? So I'm very excited for what I'm working on next, all right? Stay tuned, all right? Stay locked in, folks. But I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.